Hello guys and welcome to Odds on La Liga 30-second match day. Everyone, all the title contenders won in the middle of the week. So another exciting match day we have ahead of us. Hello Álvaro, how are you?
Hello, very well, Edu.
So we are going to analyze every single game with Álvaro and with you. So ask any question in this video to Álvaro and also make a comment in the video. You will have the chance to win a £10 free bet with Novibet. And do not forget, of course, to click on the like button if you enjoy our videos, subscribe to our channel, and click on the bell to get all the notifications. So, Álvaro, we don't have any games on Friday this time in La Liga. So let's start for the games we have on Saturday, starting with a derby, Elche Levante, with Elche fighting against relegation. Now they are actually the second worst team in La Liga. They drew against Valladolid. They were this close actually to get the victory. They lost against Osasuna, Huesca. So all these three games were games that they could have won. And now they face Levante. It looks like Levante is completely gone. They lost with Sevilla. They lost with Villarreal. 4 defeats in the last 5 games. So this is a good chance for them to get a victory.
I think so, yeah. But at the same time, Levante, as you say, they have stepped off the pedal as soon as they felt that they were safe. I think that I know that they have gotten only 3 points out of 15 since beating Valencia, which was kind of season defining for them, because for Levante, beating Valencia in the local derby, in the city derby, is very important. But since then, they've been really bad. At least the results have been very disappointing. They are 11 points off relegation still, and I have the odd feeling that Levante would be fine, even if they didn't get any more points. So, you know, I think that here they can slack off a little bit. Elche, when it comes to them, I would like to remember the words of Verdú, one of their important players after drawing with Valladolid. He said that they felt very silly because they should have won that game. And the truth is that they have been winless in the last 7. They got only 1 point against Huesca, Osasuna, and Valladolid. Probably the manager, Escribá, spotted those games, identified those games as those matches in which they could get a good point collection. It hasn't been like this, and the team hasn't improved a lot under Escribá since the sacking of Almirón. So I'm going to go for the following. Only one market here. Elche to be the first team to score against Levante, because they are much more needed. That pays 210.
They are way more needed, but they are not winning games as well, although they are better, way better at home than away. So this is a very important game for us. Also for Valladolid, right now they are safe because of that late goal scored by Olaza against Elche. But it's a team that they are not winning in the last 5 games, 3 draws, 2 defeats. And now, again, they have a very good opportunity against Cadiz. Cadiz lost with Real Madrid. They've been competitive in the last few weeks, though. It's a team that is kind of safe, I would say. But the thing is that the odds are so low, 2.1 for Valladolid, that I would never put my money in Valladolid.
I know. Well, to start with, Valladolid this season has been probably one of the best teams from the ones that are at the bottom of the table right now. I do believe that they are still a decent team. I remember their performance against Barcelona, 1 man down, and yet they didn't lose the game until the aggregate time of the second half when Dembélé scored. Valladolid has been competitive, and they never lost the plot like some other teams. For example, Eibar's case is probably the most exaggerated one. They haven't won in the last 15. Valladolid has never been that bad. But the truth is that the results have been insufficient lately. Although some of their performances, they've been all right. They drew with Sevilla. They were about to get a point at Camp Nou, as I said before, and they got a point away against Elche. I hope for them that Weissman is ready for this game, because he is one of their best scorers, and he's doubtful for the game. When it comes to Cadiz, well, it is amazing. Their point conversion in relation to their goal difference. If you look at it, you will find it pretty astonishing that having a minus 21 in the goal difference, as much as Elche, by the way, they are 9 points better than Elche. So that tells you the story of Cadiz. They have been able to get the best of some games in which it looked like they were going to lose. As I said before, when you have a minus 21 goal difference, you should be very, very very down at the bottom. And the truth is that they are 9 points better than Cadiz, than Elche, for example. So this is something that we have to take into consideration going into this game. They know how to do it when the game is decided in short margins. So for this, I'm going for the following. A double chance for Cadiz. I love that one. That pays 191. 191. And both teams to score is something that I like even better. That pays 230.
Yeah, the Cadiz is still competitive. They are not in vacation, like Ben is saying about Levante. It's true that Cadiz was not safe probably until 3 weeks ago when they started to collect important victories. And still, this is a very important game, especially for Valladolid. And talking about relegation right now, in the bottom three is Huesca, Elche, and Eibar, because Alaves ejected themselves from the bottom three. Since Calleja arrived, the results are arriving. They beat Villarreal. Remember Calleja, former coach of Villarreal, former player of Villarreal. They also beat Huesca, so 7 points out of 9, something really remarkable, but now it's more difficult. Álvaro, they are traveling to Valencia. Valencia at home is a good team, no defeats in the last 7 home games, although, again, they lost when they are traveling. They lost in Pamplona, as you predicted, by the way. And Valencia, probably they only need 1-2 more points to be absolutely safe, but they need still one victory at least to be safe.
I think so. They are going to be fine. They are going to be fine. I'm pretty sure about that. But Valencia will have to review their club model at the end of the season again, and whether they want to stay with this manager or not, or whether they want to invest some money in the next market or not. Let's don't forget that this is a club that 2 years ago they were playing in the Champions League. They got, and their numbers are awful, 47 goals conceded, only 35 points out of 96. And they have only won 2 games away from home. This is Valencia this season. Let's don't forget that. The good thing for them is that some players are improving a little bit. I think Gonzalo Guedes was one of the few who deserves to be singled out after the defeat against Osasuna. But for Valencia, having Gonzalo Guedes playing good football is very important. I think that the defeat against Osasuna speaks volumes about what the tendency for Valencia is, about what the tendency for Osasuna is. Osasuna is off the relegation right now. And Valencia got 2 points in the last 4 games. Alaves, however, look, they got 7 out of the last 9. They are 3 points off the relegation. They beat Villarreal 2-1 in a very meaningful scoreline, and they have conceded only 1 goal in the last 3. I like the headline of El Correo, newspaper, local newspaper that, does the reports of Alaves. I quote literally, it said, weapons recovered. They were talking about Lucas Perez and Jota Peleteiro, 2 players who were not important for Abelardo at all. They were totally peripheral. And under Calleja, they are playing more football. They are playing more minutes, and they are proving themselves to be very important. Also, Bataglia was fantastic against Villarreal. That has to be said. Bataglia is an Argentinian midfielder who plays for Alaves. For this game, I'm going for the following. The Asian handicap of minus 0.25 for Alaves is my favorite here. If Alaves wins, you get a win. If they draw, you lose half your bet. And that pays 3.05.
So you think Alaves is going to collect points?
I think they can.
From Mestalla, CD is telling us Valencia, Alaves, both teams to score 1.95. The thing for sure is that Valencia is going down, Alaves is going up. So it's a good opportunity for the Basque country team to collect some points. And the last game we have on Saturday, Real Madrid Betis. They play on Saturday because, remember, Real Madrid, they are playing Champions League, even if now maybe Florentino doesn't want to play anymore the Champions League, but Real Madrid is playing the Champions League semi-final on Tuesday against Chelsea. A lot of problems still. Now Fede Valverde even injured. They are going to end up playing with all the players from Castilla, the second team of Real Madrid, the youngsters. But they made the job against Cadiz. Benzema playing really well as business as always. And they are still, of course, in the title race, waiting for Atletico Madrid and Barça to drop points, but Betis, be careful. They drew against Athletic. They are not in great form right now for draws in a row, but it's always a dangerous team. And even if we remember the reverse fixture, actually Real Madrid suffered a lot to win at the Villamarín. And Pellegrini is on the bench, and Pellegrini wants for sure to get some points out of Real Madrid.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to put the spotlight on the double chance for Betis that pays 275, even though I don't personally back it, but of course, that has to be said, really. We highlight that 275 is the money you will be getting if Betis draws or wins against Real Madrid. But, I think that Real Madrid is the favorite for this game, despite all their injuries. Let's don't forget that Mendy will be out. Sergio Ramos is already training, but probably he will be out too. Modric, Toni Kroos, and Todd are doubtful. Probably Zinedine Zidane will think about keeping them fresh for the Chelsea game and not playing against Betis. This is a possibility. Fede Valverde is out, as you well said. And this is bad news because against a team like Betis, who can put on the pitch some of the best La Liga midfielders, you need control. You need to control the game. So I think that Modric, Kroos, Valverde being out is going to be something that Zinedine Zidane will have to try to tackle. And the way he tackled it against Cadiz was very good, playing with 3 centre-backs and Casemiro in front of them. That gave Real Madrid some structure and some solidity that was very welcome against Cadiz. So for this game, I think that Real Madrid can score in both halves because Betis' defense is not the best. And I'm backing here a clean sheet for Real Madrid because Betis doesn't have a great goal scorer to start with, and because one of their best threats, Fekir, is suspended. So I think that this is going to be very bad for Betis because Fekir is the kind of player who gets a certain motivation in the big games.
Yeah, actually, Ben was telling us also that Fekir was absent. Real Madrid Betis over 3.5 goals, 2.50. CD is telling us, although Real Madrid is not conceding lately and is controlling much more the games, and Govinda is saying us that he won't bet on Real Madrid for these odds. I won't do it as well. I think this is a very risky game for Los Blancos, although they are making the job as they did in this stage of the season last year.
But there is a market. The clean sheet for Real Madrid is something that I believe that is not very adventurous this time, considering that if anything, they are solid now. And players like Nacho, Militao, who didn't seem to be that, trustworthy, they have proven to be. So Rafael Varane is back as well. And I think that this is giving Real Madrid a third time structure in the team. And that's why the clean sheet is a good one. So I think that some of the odds here are not so crazy.
No, you got also the clean sheet in the Cadiz game, in the Getafe game. So Real Madrid keeping clean sheets at this stage of the season is a good idea. Then on Sunday, we have Huesca, Getafe, another massive game for the relegation battle. Now Huesca back to the relegation zone after losing 2-0 with Atletico, also because they lost with Alaves. 1-0, and Getafe, what to say about them, no? They were thrashed by Barcelona, nothing bad about it, especially because they were close. They were 3-2 with a lot of minutes to get the draw, and they got also a point from Real Madrid, but they are not winning. Last 7 games, 4 draws, 3 defeats, and they are nervous in the south of Madrid, in Getafe.
And they have to be. I think that Getafe, they are having one season that they wouldn't have desired, and the truth is that I watched the whole game against Barcelona, and it was just miraculous that Getafe was losing only 3-2 in that game. I don't even know how they scored 2 goals, because we have to remember that the first goal of Getafe came because Lenglet scored an own goal, and the second goal of Getafe was a penalty that Araujo made on En Sunal, and the Getafe striker scored the goal, but the goals of Getafe came out of nowhere. This is a team that doesn't have any cutting edge, and going forward, they don't offer too much. So I've been very disappointed with Getafe, and I think that David Soria against Barcelona was a calamity. And I do believe that Chakla, the Moroccan defender, was terrible as well. They are missing Kabako so much. Getafe needs Kabako on the team because Chakla basically is not even half of of the Uruguayan player. Huesca, they are in relegation again after losing against Atletico. I think that this is not too disappointing for them. They knew that making sure that they stayed in the top flight was going to take some time, and that coming off the relegation and getting into the relegation again was going to be part of the sequence, let's put it that way. But let's look at the positives. They had been 3 weeks out of the relegation zone, and I do believe that Huesca has improved a lot under Pacheta, and not only me, also the numbers back Huesca. So for this game, look, I like a couple of markets here that are favorable for Huesca. The Asian handicap of 0 for them in the first half, that pays 187. If they win it, you win. If they draw, you get a stake refund. Huesca to win the game, I love this one. That pays 290. And a clean sheet for Huesca, considering that Getafe has scored only 24 goals in La Liga, that pays 260. And I like this one too.
The odds are basically the same for the Huesca victory, for the draw, or for Getafe. So it's going to be a very balanced game for sure. Then we have the best game of the weekend, Villarreal, Barcelona in La Cerámica. Barcelona odds only 1.78. We just said how they thrashed Getafe. I think we have to highlight how Messi is playing. He looks at his best again, and Villarreal, they will keep an eye for sure in the semi-finals of the Europa League on Thursday against Arsenal. And we just said how they lost against Alaves, although they could have picked up a point also from Basque Country. We can expect a victory of Barcelona, but be careful because Villarreal's performance in La Liga, they are not bad lately, despite that defeat.
Yeah, I know. Of course, this is going to be a tough trip away for Barcelona, one of the toughest they've got left. But Villarreal, let's don't forget it, they lost against Osasuna. I think that the mitigating circumstance in there is that Osasuna is playing very well right now, and Villarreal could be a little bit tired. That's normal as well. Look, at the beginning of the season, Barcelona played against Villarreal back in September, and Barcelona destroyed them. And that game, I think that anticipated a little bit all the good things that Barcelona has been able to show this season. The vitality that last season was gone, the youth of some players, how Barcelona was making really good tactical switches during the game. I know that Barcelona hasn't been perfect this season, but there has been so many positives, and I think that we saw some of them already in September against Villarreal. Villarreal got 2 defeats in the last 3 games. Let's not forget that. I think that the fact that they are playing in Europe can be affecting them a little bit, and they are very dependent on Gerard Moreno, who, by the way, he has been fantastic this season, as you know. There is a 19 points difference between Barcelona and Villarreal. It could be 22 if Barcelona wins the game they have in hand. And that tells you automatically that Barcelona is the favorite for this game. The over 3 goals market is something that I would back here, 2.02. That is not crazy at all, considering that Messi is playing really well. Against Getafe, he played a fantastic first half the other day. Then in the second half, I think he was resting a little bit because the game was a little bit decided. Not totally, but it looked decided. The Asian handicap of -1 for Barcelona, I like it very much too. That pays 230, and I'm going to keep the both teams to score for my ACCA.
Okay, so you trust Barcelona here in this difficult trip. CD is telling us Villarreal-Barça over 3.5 goals, 2.50. Also another option, although we need a lot of goals to get our bet correct. Then we have Celta-Osasuna. Celta, another team that probably they look gone in the season. They made the homework before, only 1 victory in the last 6 games. They lost against Real Sociedad, even if Hugo Mayo took the lead. And we spoke a lot already about Osasuna and how good they are doing right now. They beat Valencia, we just know that, and they have won the last 3 games, Elche, Villarreal, and Valencia. Great form for Osasuna. That's why, actually, the double chance, for instance, is not a bad idea, I think, here.
No, it's not a bad idea. Of course, I think that this is a funny game because this is about how much more can we trust on Osasuna's great run? Because these runs come to an end at some point, Edu, obviously. But at the minute, you just have to look at the table. La Liga table, Osasuna has 40 points. 40 points. They are ahead of Athletic Club Bilbao. They are ahead of Celta. They are ahead of Valencia. And they are so close to Granada. Nobody would have expected that from Osasuna, coming into May. They are basically going to stay another season in the top flight, and I have to take my hat off because the directing board of Osasuna was patient with Yago Barrasate and didn't sack the manager when it could have been the easiest thing to do. Osasuna beat Valencia, Elche and Villarreal in the last 3 games. Valencia, Elche and Villarreal, those are not easy opponents, and I personally realized of their improvement, that their improvement was for real when they beat Villarreal a couple of games ago. I think that was for me the switch, the moment when I realized this Osasuna team means business right now. Celta, however, they got 38 points. They are not bad this season, but they are 2 points behind Osasuna. They won't be fighting for anything this season anymore, I believe. They are as safe as Levante are, for example. So for this game, look, I could back an Asian handicap 0 for Osasuna. That pays 240. If they win, you win. If they draw, you get a refund. I like the both teams to score so much that I'm going to keep it for the ACCA. That pays 195. You can use it alone, of course. But I'm going to back Osasuna to win here. That pays 340. And this is one of my most adventurous bets for this show. I think that 340 for Osasuna to win at Balaidos is something very appealing.
Very high odds indeed, and Osasuna, one of the best teams in the last weeks. Also Sevilla, for sure. Sevilla-Granada, derby in the south of Spain, in Andalusia. Sevilla is still in the title race. We can say that they beat Levante only 6 points away from Atletico Madrid. They have to play against Real Madrid in a couple of weeks. And El Nesiri scoring again 4 straight victories for them. And what rivals, Real Sociedad, Celta, Atletico de Madrid, and now Levante. So not an easy calendar for sure. And Granada, after being kicked out of the Europa League, they beat Valladolid. They thrashed actually Eibar for one. So they want still to compete until the end of the season.
Yes, and I like the comment we're getting here from Mano Mgam. He says, what is going on in La Liga here? There are so many goals. And it's true that some teams, they had removed the handbrake and they are playing a little bit of more free-flowing football. Do you remember, Edu, that?
Finally, because it was very boring, actually. Very boring.
I agree with you. And Sevilla is not exactly one of those teams that are playing how to put it, like a free-flowing, adventurous, daring football. I think at Sevilla, they are caring a lot about the result, about the points, and they play with a calculator in their mind, as we say in Spain. So, but however, they are doing very well, and they are still in the title race. And I never thought that El Nesiri was going to be such an instrumental player. I mean, the other day, he gave the 3 points for Sevilla, to Sevilla, with another goal. Sevilla beat 1-0 Levante away. I believe that they are in the title race, but they are not exactly title contenders because they had to beat Atletico, Real Madrid and Barcelona, and the 3 of them, they've been through a bad crisis. Real Madrid, Atletico, Barcelona, and now they all look that they are rocketing up. So I think that Sevilla may come too late into the title race, but, fair play to them. They are still there. Granada, the other day, they had a goal feast against Eibar and they were penalized in every mistake that Eibar made. They were scoring a goal. I really like that thing from Diego Martinez's team. Granada scores a decent amount of goals and all that. I know that. But Sevilla is great cancelling you out. So I'm going for the clean sheet for Sevilla. That pays 2. Basically, you double up your bet. And even the win to nil for Sevilla is very appealing, obviously. As you know, it's the win to nil. It could be a domino effect from the clean sheet. The win to nil for Sevilla, that pays 238.
CD wants a lot of goals in La Liga, actually, also for him, over 2.5, 1.9. Too many goals, I think. We saw a goal feast in the middle of the week, but unfortunately, this is not normal in La Liga, and probably we won't see many goals in San Mamés. Atletico de Madrid, a very important game for the title race. Luckily, probably for Atletico Madrid, they are visiting Athletic in a bad moment for the Basque team. They drew with Betis after the defeat in the Copa del Rey final. No victories in the last 8 games in La Liga, though 5 consecutive draws. And Atletico, well, 2 victories without conceding against weak teams, we have to say, Huesca and Eibar, but we saw the best version of Correa, so some important things for Atletico, still first, still the main favorite to win La Liga.
Yeah, they are the main favorite because they are first, and they have reverted a little bit their negative trajectory. Look, a win away for Atletico de Madrid is good enough here. That pays 192, so I think that you should believe on that, on the basis of Atletico de Madrid's improvement, number one, and Athletic Club Bilbao's really bad moment. It's a very bad moment for them. Athletic Club Bilbao is not the same team since they lost against Real Sociedad in the Cup final. They are winless in the last 8 games. And also some of their best players, they are underperforming. Raúl García, Iñaki Williams, they are not having a good time. I would say that also the absentees of 3 pivotal players like Geray, Yuri, and Muniain, who won't be playing against Atletico de Madrid, will be very difficult to compensate or to compensate for Marcelino. So that's why I believe that Atletico de Madrid is a favorite coming into this game. And normally these games at San Mamés are difficult for the top teams because historically Athletic Club Bilbao has been one of them. But without having any fans in the stands, I think that this game is going to be one-way traffic for Atletico de Madrid, who, by the way, they improved a lot since the draw against Betis. I think that game looked very bad on Correa because he had 2 chances in the last minutes of the game. Claudio Bravo managed to save them. And there were critics on Correa, and there were worries as well because Correa was the only focal point at Atletico de Madrid attack because Luis Suarez is out, Joao Felix is out, both with injuries. Let's see if Joao Felix is ready for this game. I don't think so. But Correa, ever since his bad game against Betis, he's been scoring. And he has proven that, in the absence of the top strikers of Atletico de Madrid, he has been useful. And at the same time, Marcos Llorente is still scoring or assisting against, in the midweek, he gave 2 assists. And Yannick Ferreira Carrasco, he's been scoring goals as well. So, they managed to navigate through difficult circumstances without Luis Suarez. So, here, I'm going for the following. As I said before, Atletico de Madrid to win is very good. Both teams to score is something that I could back, but the Asian handicap of minus 0.25 is something that I have to flag here, just in case you believe a little bit on Athletic de Bilbao, because that pays 374.
Very appealing odds, I would say, for Atletico de Madrid victory, 1.92. Not only you, Álvaro, back this idea. Everyone actually here, Ben, also Atletico de Madrid all the way here, and Vano, saying that Athletic Bilbao, they are already on holidays, and the same for CD. Atletico win plus under 2.5 goals, 3.65, so looks like most of the people believe here that Simeone's men are going to win in San Mamés, but be careful because Atletico, away, they are struggling a little bit lately, as they showed in Sevilla against Betis and Sevilla. Then for Monday, Basque Derby, Eibar Real Sociedad. Unfortunately, Eibar, a team that had a lot of pride being in Primera, is a small town, but they are going down for sure. They lost 4-1 against Granada after losing 5-0 against Atletico, 4 consecutive defeats in La Liga. I really like the coach, Mendilibar, but unfortunately, this will be their first relegation because it was the first time that they are in Primera for many years. And now they face their neighbors, Real Sociedad, that got their first victory after the handover of the Copa del Rey. They drew 2 games, they lost 1 game. And here the odds for Real Sociedad are not bad, actually, 2.15.
No, they are not bad. But, for this game, I'm going to go for some different markets. I'm not going to try to predict who is going to win or lose in this game because just for this reason, I think that the Real Sociedad has so many players in the sidelines that it makes it very difficult to predict. Look, Lustondo and Carlos Fernandez are suspended. Lenormand and Zubeldia could be out with an injury. And then, against Celta, Moyá, Zaldúa, Illarramendi, Merino, Allen, Merkeland, Silva, and Sangali were out. You know, half the squad is not available for Imanol Alguacil. I don't know if the doctors are going to make miracles from today until Sunday or Monday, but they have to, because otherwise Real Sociedad won't be able to put not a competitive lineup, but definitely not to have a competitive bench. And I think that this is something that Real Sociedad needs, considering that this season they have played the Cup final, that this season they've been in Europe until the last 32 round of the competition. So Real Sociedad also needs fresh legs, and they don't have them at the minute. It's very unfortunate for them because they are fighting for the 5th spot. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, Eibar has been terrible this season. They tried against Granada. When Quique Garcia scored his goal, he believed, because you could say, or you could see how he celebrated the goal. He took the ball from the net. He ran to the midfield with the ball because he wanted to keep on playing, you know. But then, you know, the team wasn't good enough, and they lost 4-1 against Granada. Eibar hasn't won in the last 15 games, don't forget. And they only got, and this is what passes me, only one home win this season. But since Real Sociedad has so many players in the sidelines, as I said before, I'm going to explore different markets. So, for example, the halftime draw is something that I can see here happening. That pays 2.14. And the under 2 goals market is something I fancy here as well, 2.40. You know, Eibar trying to keep it tight, trying to fight for their lives to get a point, and Real Sociedad maybe struggling to score. That the under 2 goals market is something I back here, 2.40.
Okay, then Álvaro, all 10 games analyzed. CD is trusting Real Sociedad despite the injuries. Let's see what happens on Monday in this Basque derby. Then let's tell us your ACCA for the weekend.
Yes, it could be, let's start by Real Madrid Betis. I can see a -1 for Real Madrid. Huesca to win. Both teams to score in the Villarreal Barcelona. And both teams to score in Celta Osasuna. That pays 18.46.
Okay, Álvaro, thank you very much. We will write it below in the description, your ACCA with the odds. Then, thanks for analyzing with us this new match day, 32nd of La Liga. Thank you, everyone, also for commenting, for asking any questions to Álvaro. You can still comment in the video and get a £10 free bet with Novibet. And, of course, support us. Click on the like button, subscribe to our channel, and click on the bell to get all the notifications. And if you prefer to listen to the podcast, you also can. We have a podcast for you. And next week we are back. We have Champions League, we have Europa League, we have the 4 competitions that we analyze every week, and maybe soon also the Ligue 1, the French competition, as someone was asking us. Thank you, and see you soon.